Good morning. I am Reshma. Today I am here to continue with the topic Objectives of Teaching English for the class BA B.Ed third year Pedagogy of English. Now in our previous video I had discussed the aim of education, which is to make learning occur, and to make learning occur as a good process, the teacher has to undergo three phases, which are planning, execution, and how to teach. And we had discussed the definition of objectives. According to B.S. Bloom, the definition of objective is the desired goal or outcome at which instruction is aimed. And we had discussed the characteristics of good objectives. Now coming to the objectives of teaching English at a junior level. Now we all know the junior level is a lower secondary stage which is consisting of classes 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. That is, classes below 8th come under the junior level. During this level, the chief aim of English is language development. That is, our chief aim should be to develop the language in the students. This means that English should be taught not as literature but as a language. It should be taught as a language. And this is said that our chief concern should not be about the difficulties of pronunciation, growth of vocabulary, grammar and structure, but with language abilities. That is, here we should not pay much interest on the pronunciation, whether the students are learning the vocabulary, grammar and its structure, but we should develop their language abilities. That is, they should be able to speak language properly. Here the words of Thompson explain that the aim at literature is to miss the way to language. That is, aim at language is a pave the way to literature. You should aim at language first and then only you can move on to literature. The second rationale is that students start learning language from this very junior level. If they understand language at this junior level, slowly they will start understanding or developing literature afterwards. So first they should have a grip over the language. At this stage, language development should not only be the chief objective but also the only objective. Here, language development should be the only objective. You should not focus on pronunciation, vocabulary, grammar, structures, etc. It should be only language development. So this is the objective of teaching English at a junior level. Now, second point, objectives of teaching, that is English at a secondary level. Now, secondary or senior level. Senior level is higher secondary level consisting of 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th classes. The objectives of teaching English at this level are both. That is, there are two objectives, language development as well as literary development. Now, it means that along with the fourfold objectives of the language development, now there are fourfold objectives of the language development. Now, what are the fourfold objectives of the development? Which is, in simple language, to say, it is understanding the language, dealing with the sound, spelling, and pronunciation. Third one is related to writing, and the fourth one is which deals with reading. These are the fourfold objectives of language teaching. We shall discuss them later, but here main important it is understanding, sound, spelling and pronunciation, writing and reading. So these are the fourfold objectives. So here they say the fourfold objectives of the language development, they are related to hearing, speaking, writing and reading. The literary development is also an important objective at the higher secondary level. It is used for introducing an objective of literary development in the higher secondary level of the creative thought in the students when they are at the legible age of creative thinking. That is, at this age the students have the thoughts of developing creations, creative thoughts. At this stage the students are generally at the age of 13 to 17 years. A psychologist, Piaget, says that during these years the students' creative thinkings can be developed. Studying English literature can facilitate this development. So we can teach them literature in order to facilitate the creative thought development in the students. Now the objectives which come under language development will remain same as which are under the junior level, that is development of taste for English literature by reading prose, poetry, story, etc. Next, drawing aesthetic pleasure from reading English literature. Now here drawing doesn't mean what you are drawing, it is developing pleasure from reading English literature. Next, understanding critical values. You read something, you try to understand the critical values or views given in a particular prose, poetry, story, etc. Next, development of translating ability. You should be able to translate anything properly. Next, development of interest in English literature. So this will help you to develop your interest in English literature if you are able to do all the above developments properly. So in short, we can say at a senior level, the language and literary development is important. Now, there are some obstacles also in the realization of objectives. Now, we have given some objectives, we have set some objectives, but there are some obstacles, some hindrances also. What are they? There are administrative as well as financial problems in school which hinder to the realization of these objectives. There are lack of good and trained English teachers. So this is one of the major point, lack of good and trained English teachers. Next, the classes are so crowded that it becomes impossible for the teacher to get acquainted with the progress of every child in English. Classes are crowded, and that is why the teacher cannot pay individual attention to the progress of every child in English. Next, extra workload on teachers does not allow them to devote themselves fully in getting the objectives of English teaching realized. That is, teachers are extra loaded, overburdened, so that is why they cannot focus on the objectives. Next, lack of aptitude, teaching aptitude in teachers. That is, teachers, they themselves are not properly trained, they do not have proper teaching aptitudes, so they cannot teach in a noteworthy way. So, these are the few obstacles. If these obstacles are removed and lessons are planned properly on sound objectives which are framed, then it will be very beneficial for the students, and the whole teaching and the learning process can be facilitated. So, it is for us teachers to pay more attention for our lessons, to plan our lessons properly and train our students, and try to pay attention on the progress of the students and get good results and try to attain all the objectives of teaching English at a junior and a secondary level. Thank you.